Akungba's life was one of relentless battles. He wielded his sword like an extension of his body, his every strike guided by divine favor. Time after time he led his people to victory, protecting Owu's lands, crops, and honor. His armor, forged from black iron said to have fallen from the sky, gleamed with an unearthly light. His war cry alone was enough to scatter lesser foes. But even a hero's mortal body has limits. One fateful day, in a battle against a coalition of enemies determined to destroy Owu, Akungba sustained grave wounds. Though he triumphed and saved his people once more, he knew his time was near. As he lay dying atop Mount Orobo, overlooking his beloved homeland, he made a pact with his people. "My strength will not fade," he declared, his voice carrying over the mountain winds. "When you are in need, when the enemy comes to destroy Owu, come to this mountain. Find the chain that binds my spirit and draw it. I will rise from the grave and fight for Owu, as I have always done." With those words he breathed his last. The people buried him atop the mountain, fashioning a shrine around the spot. As they mourned, they found a heavy iron chain where his body had lain, glinting ominously in the moonlight. They took it as a sign of his promise, and Akungba's legend began. Years turned into decades, and Akungba's promise proved true. Whenever Owu was in peril, the villagers would send their warriors to Mount Orobo to draw the chain. Each time, Akungba's spirit rose, fierce and unstoppable. He would descend upon the battlefield, cutting through Owu's enemies like a storm, leaving none alive. His power was absolute, his loyalty unwavering. Word of Akungba spread far and wide. Owu became a feared and respected kingdom, its enemies hesitating to provoke a land protected by a warrior who defied death itself. Over time, the people of Owu grew prosperous and confident, secure in the knowledge that Akungba would always answer their call. One year, the people of Owu prepared for their annual Yam festival, a time of feasting, dancing, and celebration. The festival was grander than ever, with drummers beating rhythms into the night and villagers drinking palm wine in abundance. Joy filled the air, but with it came recklessness. Among the celebrants was a young man named Okanbi, a curious and impulsive villager who had heard the tales of Akungba but had never seen the warrior's spirit rise. Fueled by palm wine and a mischievous sense of adventure, he declared to his friends, "I will see if the legend is true. I will draw the chain." His companions laughed and cheered, thinking it a harmless jest. But Okanbi, encouraged by their encouragement, stumbled up the path to Mount Orobo under the cover of night. When he reached the shrine, he saw the chain, its iron links gleaming in the moonlight. Without hesitation, he grasped it with both hands and pulled. The mountain trembled, the air grew thick and cold, and from the earth emerged Akungba, his towering form encased in armor, his sword blazing with unholy light. Okanbi fell to his knees, his drunken bravery dissolving into terror. Akungba descended the mountain, his spirit confused and enraged. There was no war to fight, no enemy to vanquish, but he had been summoned, and his duty was to kill. He marched into the heart of Owu, his sword swinging with deadly precision. The villagers, still celebrating, were caught unaware. They screamed and scattered, but Akungba's blade spared no one. Houses burned, and the streets ran red with the blood of his own people. By the time Akungba realized the truth, that there was no threat to Owu, that he had been summoned in vain, countless lives had been lost. In his grief and fury, Akungba returned to Mount Orobo. There he drove his sword into the earth and took the chain in his other hand. "I have failed my people," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "Never again shall I rise. Let my spirit rest, for I am no longer worthy to protect Owu." With those words, Akungba turned to stone, his form frozen in eternal penance. He became a statue, his sword in one hand, the chain in the other, standing sentinel over Owu. To this day, the story of Akungba is told across Osun State, a cautionary tale of power, loyalty, and human folly. It is said that the statue still stands atop Mount Orobo, watching over the land in silence. Some claim that on nights of great peril, you can hear the faint clinking of chains carried by the wind, as if Akungba's restless spirit still lingers. But no one dares to draw the chain.